Welcome to Life and DNA with Amanda Renee. I'm so glad you joined me today. Let's get started. Hi, and thank you for joining me on Life and DNA with Amanda Renee. I'm Amanda. Thank you for joining me today. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Today, I wanted to talk about finding balance in homeschooling. It's kind of hard to do, especially when you have pressure from what others expect of you and what you expect from yourself and what you expect from your kids. And so, yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I also want to remind you I have the 2 book clubs over on Patreon. I will be filming the first video for the Studious Wives book club right after this, and that'll be getting posted. And so if you join me in that book club, it's $10 a month, and I'll have a video every 2 weeks discussing the chapters. There'll be a reading guide so that you can kind of keep up with me. Right now I'll be going over the intro and then the first 5 chapters. And so, yeah, I'm excited about that. And then the other book club is for high school homeschoolers, and we're going through the classics, whatever classics that my daughter and I choose for her this year. It's her freshman year. If this goes well, we'll keep this up throughout her high school years. And you can read along with us. I have a reading plan to go with that one as well. And then you can catch the I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a video or a podcast, seeing as how she is 14. But you will have access to the podcast or video of us discussing. There'll also be a chat that will be open to you if you join me over there. And it's just at Life and DNA with Amanda Renee on Patreon. And that one is just $5 a month. We'll also have bi-weekly podcasts where we discuss and answer questions, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you join me on one or both of those. What about finding balance in homeschooling? If you homeschool, then you know that it's hard. It's something we homeschool moms struggle with every day, all the time, because everything is on us at home. And I don't mean that in like an oh poor me way. I'm just saying that's a lot. We have the house, the laundry, the cooking, cleaning, and making sure every errand gets run, the groceries are bought, and doing school on top of all of that. And then you throw in some extracurricular things on top of that, and life can get hectic really, really quickly. And this week I'm definitely feeling that. I think hopefully next week should be much quieter. This week is the county fair where we live, and we are 4-H members. I actually lead our homeschool 4-H group, and so that, on top of just other things in life, has been making everything a little crazy this week. And so sometimes, just as, I mean, moms all have mom guilt, but homeschool moms, we have extra in this area, I think. When you decide to homeschool, the thing that people ask you the most, annoyingly, but the thing they ask you the most is, how will they be socialized? Will they be just little weirdos that can't talk to anybody because they're homeschooled? Well, no, not necessarily, unless you make them into little weirdos that can't talk to anybody outside of your circle. So, as homeschoolers, sometimes I have seen some parents overcompensate that and put their kids in everything. And then I have met the ones that don't do anything, and they are very socially awkward, and but I don't necessarily believe that that is just a homeschooling problem. I think some kids just are more socially awkward. I was as a kid, and I went to public school my whole life. Some of us are just not as great at being social as others. But I was determined to try to find a happy medium with my kids. I didn't want, I don't like to go so much. Like this week, it's really stressing me out that I've had to go somewhere every day this week. That's stressful to me. I guess I did have one day. I had one day at home. That's probably where I got just a little bit of sanity. But if I have to go somewhere most days, it's very stressful to me because we're trying to fit in school. I've tried to clear my schedule in the mornings, and we've been doing good, waking up earlier, getting breakfast, getting the majority of our schoolwork done before lunchtime. And my daughter's a little slower at that, but she is in high school, so I'm giving her a little bit of grace with that. And then we have the afternoons for errands and chores and me getting supper ready and things like that. But like I said, finding a balance is not easy. Our kids, we chose not to do sports with our kids. I tend to be a little on the competitive side. I'm typically pretty quiet and calm and reserved, but in sports situations, I can be the opposite of that. And my husband can be too. And so we didn't want to put ourselves in a situation where either we were, getting in arguments with other parents or umpires or anything, refs, anything like that. And our daughter never was interested in sports much. Our son was a little bit, but not till he was older. And by then it was a little late to get him started in things. They both get heat sick, so playing outside sports is kind of out because where we live, it is very, very hot when they're playing sports. And while some people think, oh, that makes us the worst parents in the world because we didn't push them into sports, that can be your opinion. And, that's fine. I played basketball in school. It was okay. It was actually a really horrible experience for the most part, but, I could have lived without it. My kids are doing just fine without it. We chose 4-H, or I chose 4-H with that because I wanted them to have a little bit of experience with working with other people, interacting with other people. You get a lot of public speaking experience, but in kind of a relaxed way with 4-H. You start the kids out in their club meetings. Like our next meeting, we're having a show and tell. So the kids get up and they bring something they're excited about or passionate about or a pet, and they stand up in front of everybody and tell us about it. But it's, their friends, the people in their club that they're mostly used to, and the moms that they're used to. And, it's just something short. They always have a speech contest in 4-H. My kids have done it once. They'll do it again this year. I gave them a couple years off only because it was going to be hard on me to find the time to have them write the speech. So we're going to work on those in the fall, and then we'll already have them ready by the time winter comes and it's time for that. They get to do radio spots and get to hear their voice on the radio, which is always fun. But when you record, it's just, you, and sometimes the person just sets it up and even leaves the room. So you get to just kind of get the experience and get the exposure without a lot of the pressure that I remember having in public school. And also, we encourage in 4-H, you cheer your friends on. We don't allow a lot of rude comments and things like that to go on. No bullying or anything like that. And also, like with the county fair, our kids don't have animals to show. Our daughter did show her guinea pigs one year, but they get really nervous. The guinea pigs, not my kids, but the guinea pigs get really, really nervous. And so we didn't want to put them through that again. So they haven't done that. But as far as showing animals, our kids haven't done that part. But they do enter things in the fair. And so they get the experience of that. And then I make them work the concession stand, because it's pretty much the only, fundraiser that our group does. And so as the leader, I need to make sure that my kids are doing that. And it also gives my kids a good experience working with, talking to strangers, working with the public, but also in a controlled and safe environment. And so that's one of the reasons that, my husband and I chose 4-H. It just kind of landed that I ended up being the one having to lead it and take over the whole thing. So yeah, that was our choice. And also through our church, our church is very kids oriented. And so there's a lot of programs for the kids. And because I teach the preschool, I'm involved in a lot of the meetings about everything going on with the church, and get to put some input in, just a little bit of input in on that stuff, and help with like the Christmas program, and the kids get exposure, get some public speaking practice there. Like our son had lines last year, and we're trying to get like a bigger play this year so that more kids have lines, and it's kind of a bigger production than we've done in the past. So those are the ways that my husband and I have had our kids, out in the world, I guess you'd say, and getting, experience with people. But I think the thing that most people don't realize about homeschoolers is our kids are with us 24/7. So our kids are exposed to way more adult situations like that. Like they're exposed to pretty much every situation I have to be in, that they're exposed to it, because I have to take them with me, or did when they were younger. And they can interact with elderly people, as well as they can interact with, babies and everything in between. They get the social interaction on every level, and not just their age level like you would in public school. And that's always something that I've loved. Now our daughter is very much unlike my husband and I, in the fact that she is very extroverted, and we are both very introverted. And from the minute that girl could talk, she made friends everywhere she went, with no matter what age the person was, she was making friends. And then our son is more reserved like us, but yet he still has, his group of friends. He still will, when we push him, he still will do it and push. And like, he got up on stage in costume and said his lines last Christmas, and he will get up and say the speech that he's going to have to do. And I'm proud of them for that. They do it with way more confidence than I did. And I grew up in public school, used to that kind of thing all the time. And I still would get so nervous I'd make myself sick over it. And our kids, while they get a little nervous, they don't get like that to that point. And so I'm proud of them for that. But I have seen people that don't push their kids at all, and then they are stuck at home more. And we have a friend in particular, and I'm not going to say names, because not that they listen to this, but she keeps her daughter fairly sheltered. and we love them to death. But they, our kids have invited their kid to certain things, and the kid will always be like, "Oh yeah, that sounds fun. I want to do that," and bring it up to the parent, and then the parent is like, "Oh, but you don't like this, remember?" And then all of a sudden the kid is like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to do that." Push your kid a little. Like, it's good for them. Okay, so they don't like, whatever it was they don't like. It's okay to still go to things and do things. It sounded fun to you a minute ago. So sometimes I kind of wonder if that's the parent not wanting to do something and worried about either their kid in the situation, or they don't want to have to get out and take the kid somewhere. I kind of wonder that. Mostly because that's how my mother was. Even though I went to public school, anything outside of school, my mom would almost talk us out of, but come to find out it's because she didn't want to have to get out of the house and go do something or find something to do while we were doing something. She wanted to stay home and not do anything she didn't want to do. And so we missed out on a lot until we were able to drive and take ourselves. And so when I see parents do things like that and then hold their kids back because of that, or it could be out of worry for the kid, or you don't want your kid to be in, a situation that they don't like, but that's life, and our job as parents, and especially homeschool parents, is to prepare our kids for the real world and life. And you're gonna do stuff you don't want to do. You're gonna have to. We can't just walk through life, unless you're just inherently extremely filthy rich and wealthy. You're gonna have to do things you don't like to do in life. And the more you get your child used to that in a nice, safe, healthy, loving environment, the better off they're going to be. Because a lot of these kids that I know and I see, and I'm not just talking about homeschool kids, I'm talking about some pretty sheltered and pampered public school kids too, are in for a very rude awakening when they go out into the real world. And that's sad, because their parents could have eased them into it, is what I'm saying, instead of just going from, "Oh, I never have to do anything I don't want to do and life is wonderful," to boom, all of a sudden, I'm gonna get my car taken away by the bank because I didn't make my payments because I couldn't find a job that I just really, really, really loved and wanted to do. And so, yeah. But, so that's where I believe there's balance. Because I've seen parents that go overboard and make life too miserable for their kids. And they get no fun time. Everything is work. Everything is a chore. And then I've seen the opposite. So trying to find a middle balance is what I've always tried to do in homeschool and in life. And but it isn't always easy. And when I have a busy week like this week, I am very, very thankful for weeks like next week, because so far nothing except for my Mondays, which are always going to be busy because of our son's allergy shots, and then my staff meetings. Mondays are just always going to be crazy for me. But other than that, it should be fairly easygoing and at home most of the time next week. So I will cherish that week for sure. But yeah, and if you have any tips or anything you've found that works for your family, or if you have any questions, my email address is in the show notes, or you can message me on Instagram. But yeah, it's not easy to find balance in life, and so I'm always looking for tips and always trying to help anyone that asks, because it's not easy, and it's taken me years to kind of work out a system that works for us. Some weeks I get it, and some weeks I'm not great at it, but I'm trying. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed today. If you did, and you're watching on YouTube, click the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Don't forget to join me for the book clubs over on Patreon at Life and DNA with Amanda and Renee. I'm going to go record the one for the Studious Wives book club. We're reading The Empowered Wife. It's really, really good. I've taken lots and lots of notes, and so I'm ready to discuss that one. And my daughter and I will record for the high school classics book club, reading The Count of Monte Cristo, the unabridged version. I've had to stop because I was reading so far ahead of her, because I love that book so much. And so I can't wait to discuss that one too. And other than that, I will see you next time. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me today on Life and DNA with Amanda Renee. Come back next week and I'll have a new episode. Bye.